Good morning. I'm sorry, I have the puja on the 27th Vaishali's stupa's inauguration. So I am not in Bodhgaya this time, so I would like to record. Okay, let's get started. Establish the place of prayer. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. Here now we have just chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. At this moment, this place has become the place of prayer to Odaimoku and the place of prayer for our heart during lifetime. At this very place of prayer to Odaimoku, all Buddhas have attained enlightenment. This is also the place where the Buddha have expounded their teaching. This world in which we live, believing in and chanting Odaimoku, is a place where the Buddha live in peace. Adoration of Gohonzon. In the mandala Gohonzon, the object of our worship, is shown the origin of how the mandala was written. One day in the 12th month of 1274, 11th year of Bunnei, I, Nichiren, wrote the Gohonzon in the village of Haki province of Kai, the present-day Minobu-san, Yamanashi prefectures. It was a time when over 2,220 years had passed since Shakyamuni Buddha passed away. Nevertheless, in the three countries of India, China, and Japan, namely in the world, there had never existed a Gohonzon like this. This is probably because none of our past masters attempt to spread the Gohonzon among the society even though they were aware of its existence. Or it may be that nobody knew about it. Shakyamuni Buddha, after careful consideration, determined that he should conceal the Gohonzon until the arrival of an opportune moment to reveal it, leaving it to the people in the period of Mappo. In fact, the Buddha preaches in the Lotus Sutra that his messenger Jogyo Bosatsu should spread the Buddha's teachings in the first 500 years of Mappo, as predicted by the Buddha. Nichiren Daishonin appeared in this world to reveal the Gohonzon and expounded the teachings of the Odaimoku. Word of oath before reciting the Lotus Sutra. To carry out the way of the Buddha, as the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha has been expounding his teaching without rest from the beginning to this day, not only in our world, but also in immutable world. Among his teaching, the Lotus Sutra is the most important. If you devote yourself completely to the faith in the Lotus Sutra, you will surely become a person who truly practices the way of the Buddha. All of you, even after my death, should continue having faith in the Lotus Sutra and reciting it. Make this oath before me now. 南無妙法蓮華経。無常人人未病の法は百千万号にもあいたて祭ることかたし、我今検問し授事することを得たり、願わくは如来の第一行下船、至極の大乗思議すべからず、検問即地皆菩提に近づく。能戦は方針、所詮は発心、色相の文字はすなわちこれ王人なり、無料の功徳皆この経に集まれり、このゆえに自在に妙に訓示密に訳す、内無知罪を滅し善を生ず、もしは真もしは法、共に仏道上善、三世の諸仏人人の妙典なり、諸上世世地具し頂戴せ。Verses for opening the sutra. The most profound and wonderful teaching is presented in this sutra. This sutra is difficult to meet even once in thousands and millions of years. Now we have been able to see, hear, receive, and keep this sutra. May we understand the most excellent teaching of the Tathagata. The most excellent teaching of the great Bhikkhu is very difficult for us to understand. We should be able to approach enlightenment when we see, hear, or touch this sutra. Expounding is the Buddha's wisdom. Expounded is the Buddha's truth. The letters composing this sutra are the Buddha's manifestation. Just as perfume is caught by something put nearby, so shall we be richly benefited by this sutra, even when we are not aware of being so benefited, because infinite merits are accumulated in this sutra. We can expel our past transgression, do good deeds, and attain Buddhahood by the merits of this sutra. It doesn't matter whether we are wise or not, or whether we believe the sutra or surrender it. This sutra is the most wonderful and most excellent taught by the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. May we meet and receive it, verse after verse, word after word. 妙法蓮華経法弁本題に二次生尊十三枚安城に記号さり発成仏へ、その時に生尊三枚より安城として立ってシャリホツに告げたまわく、諸仏の知恵は人人無料なり、その知恵の門は難下難流なり、一切の正門百四仏の知ることあたわざるところなり、家はいかん仏かつて百千万の組主の諸仏に真言し、ことごとく諸仏の無料の同法を行事、有名精進して名称あまねく聞こえたまえり、人人未曾有の法を成就してよろしきに従って時たもところ、一周悟りがたしシャリをつわれ成仏しており、この方衆の因縁衆の比をもって広く根拠を述べ、無視の方便をもって衆生を引導してもろもろの弱を離れしむ。家は一貫如来は方便知見腹密皆すでに具足整理、シャリオツ如来の知見は交代人論なり、無量無下力無償意全上下夏三枚あって深く無才に入り、一切の未曾有の法を成就整理、シャリオツ如来はよく衆に分別し巧みに商法を説く、根治入難にして衆の心を越過ししむ。シャリオツ用をとってこれをいわば無量無辺未曾有の法、仏ことごとく成就したまいり、闇難シャリオツまた特別からずゆえはいかん仏の成就したまいるところは、第一形有にして難下の法なり、ただ仏と仏と今しよく情報の実相を空人したまいり、いわゆる小法尿税、総尿税、小尿税、大尿税、力尿税、差尿税、陰尿税、遠尿税、下尿税、法尿税、本末空教となり、いわゆる小法尿税、総尿税、小尿税、大尿税、力尿税、差尿税、陰尿税、遠尿税、下 clearly the substance of his enlightenment. Shakyamuni Buddha calmly opened his eyes and began talking to Shariputra, who was known to be the Buddha's wisest disciples. The wisdom of the Buddha, not to mention my own wisdom, is so deep and wide that it is far beyond your imagination. Since you want to understand Buddha's enlightenment, if it is expounded as it is, I first tried to reveal my mind by using Hoben or expedient wisdom, following your heart. However, since you could not even understand the purpose behind Hoben, you are far from being able to enter the world of the truth. Shariputra, Shravaka who understand impermanency just by listening to the Buddha's teaching, and Pratyeka Buddha who seeks enlightenment just by sensing impermanency through experience, or the people who are practicing individually to reach the state of enlightenment. Hence, they cannot understand the interrelation between expedient and the truth. This is because the Buddha, unlike you, has trained himself under countless Buddhas, carried out countless practices taught by them, and accomplished the goals of severe practice in order to attain enlightenment. His reputation is widespread. The Buddha's enlightenment is unprecedentedly deep and has been preached and expounded skillfully. However, it seems to be too difficult for you to understand the true meaning. Shariputra, even since I became a Buddha, I have been expounded my teaching broadly, using example and parables. I used every kind of Hoben or expedient wisdom in order to lead people and save them from attachment. The reason that was possible is because the Buddha is perfectly equipped with an understanding of both Hoben and the truth. Shariputra, the Buddha's wisdom is wide and deep. That is to say, the Buddha holds for immutable minds, known as He, Jihi, Kisha, love, compassion, happiness, and disturbance. And when he expounds his teaching, he is versatile and flexible, equipped with 10 kinds of supreme wisdom, and teaches as he believed without reserve. At that time, his mind is unshakable, wiping off hesitation completely, distances from any suffering and focusing on goodness so that he can ascertain the truth. In other words, the Buddha has all the wisdom to teach and lead all people. Shariputra, the Buddha adapted his teaching in accordance with time and place, conjuring a teaching method fit for each person he teaches. His way of teaching is very flexible, bringing those whom he teaches to certain and joy. Shariputra, all told, the Buddha has attained the Dharma, immutable excellence, which none has achieved up to now. I will stop explaining my teaching to you. Listen carefully. Shariputra, I probably should not expound my teaching to you, since you cannot understand the true purpose of the Buddha's teaching. The reason being, my word of enlightenment is unprecedented, and it's the most superior. It is a word you will never be able to reach. Only the Buddha attained the reality of all things in their fullest extent. This true state of all things must be viewed from the following 10 kind of perspective. So is the outside appearance show, is the nature hidden inside Tai, is a combination of the two. These three factors are the fundamental of existence. Riki is the inner power, Sa is the outside effect, In is the indirect cause, N is the indirect cause, Ka is the result, Ho is a new interrelationship with the surroundings suitable to its effect. The factor of Hon, which encompasses So, Sho, and Tai, and Matsu, which encompass the rest, are the factors existent in all things and always complement one another. This is To or equality. 妙法蓮華経如来十両本第16我仏を得ておりこの方へたるところのボロボロの骨種無料百千万億歳阿僧儀なり常に法を説いて無私欲の衆生を強形して仏道にいらしむそれより にこの方無良好なり衆生を当選がためのゆえに方便して涅槃を現ずしかも実には滅動せず常にここに従して法を説く我常にここに従すれどももろもろの神通力をもって天道の衆生をして近しいといえどもしかも宮沢しむ衆話が滅動を見て広くシャリを供養しことごとく皆連邦を抱いて活合の心を生じ衆生すでに神福し四時期にして心入難に一心に仏を見立て祀らんと欲して自ら神妙を惜しまず時に我および宗僧ともに両重戦にいず我時に衆生に語る常にここにあって滅せず方便力をもってのゆえに滅不滅ありと現ず世の国に衆生の空行し信行するものあれば我またかの中においてために無常の法を説くなんだちこれを聞かずしてただ我滅動すと思えり我もろもろの衆生を見れば空海に持つ財政理かるがゆえにために身を現ぜずしてそれをして活合を生ぜしむその心を連合するによってすなわち入れてために法を説く神通力格のごとし阿葬儀行において常に両重戦および世のもろもろの重症にあり衆生こう尽きて大火に焼かれると見るときにも我がこの道は安穏にして天人常に10万整理恩林もろもろの道覚衆の宝をもって将軍整理宝珠のは花見多くして衆生の遊び楽しむところなり小天天のつぐみを打って常にもろもろの戯学をなし曼荼羅系を降らして仏および大衆に散らす我が浄土は破れざるにしかも衆は焼けすぎてもろもろの空の核のごとくことごとく10万セリと見るこのもろもろの罪の衆生は悪業の因縁をもって阿葬儀を優れども三方の皆を聞かずもろもろの功徳を修し入はしきじきなることあるものはすなわち皆我が身ここにあって法を説くと見るある時にはこの衆のために仏十無量なりと説く久しくしてすなわち仏を見立て祀る者にはために仏には愛がたしと説く我が地力格のごとし栄光照らすこと無料に寿命無趣向なり久しくご主して得たるところなりなんだちあるものここにおいて疑いを生ずることなかれまさに断じて長く突き刺しむ名詞仏語は実にして虚しからず身の良き方便をもって王子さんがためのゆえに実にはあれどもしかも死すというによくこうもを説くことなきがごとく我もまたよろちちとしてもろもろの空間を救うものなり本部の天道せるがために実にはあれどもしかも滅すという常に我を見るをもってのゆえにしかも教師の心を生じ法一にしてご欲に弱し悪道の中に大津我常に衆生の道行事道行ぜざるを知ってとすべきところに従ってために衆の法を説く常に自らこの伝をなす何をもってか衆生をして無常道にいることを得て速やかに仏心を成就せしめんとThe duration of the life of the Tathagata. Shakyamuni, my original Hotoke Buddha. I am always expounding the teaching of the Buddha to lead you into the way have trusted the Buddha in all seriousness, you will honestly begin to want to meet him and seek the way of the Buddha at the cost of your life. When you enter that state of mind, you realize the Buddha is present in this world along with his disciples. You will then begin to understand the reason why the Buddha is saying, I am always here, only I choose to hide and appear on purpose in order to save you all. In fact, if there is anyone who seeks me, not just on earth, but anywhere in space, there I am able to expand my teachings. You might think there is no Buddha simply because you don't care to lend an ear to the Buddha's teaching. When I took at your way of life, I can tell very well how hurt you are struggling with various suffering, unable to find a way to escape from them. I hide myself from you both to help you realize you can never escape from the suffering of this world by yourself and become convinced that you should seek the Buddha and his teaching. When these feelings arise, you will understand that the Buddha is actually expounding his teaching at all times. This is known as the Buddha's supernatural powers. In other words, the Buddha is anywhere at any time. Even when you suspect that the world has come to its end and that it will burn to destruction in the great fire, my mental state always remains peaceful, and my surroundings are full of people with the same mental state. It is like, for example, a beautiful flower garden and bushes. These stand a building like a castle. Along it grow trees full of beautiful flowers and fruits, and people are living happily. It is as if heavenly beings are playing music, and petals of the mandala's flowers are gracefully falling along us. My word of enlightenment, my word of wisdom will never be destroyed. But all of you who are at the loss believe this world is moving towards destruction, and that while you exist in this world, all kinds of frightful and painful events will arise. The reason why you are suffering as you are right now is because you have totally failed to reflect upon your half-hearted ways of life filled with worldly desire, without paying any attention to the light religion and the light faith, and not being mindful of making any effort. Those who continue to conduct good deeds for the world, for its people with a light faith at heart, are relieved from the hiding of self-attachment, and neither fool themselves nor others. People of this kind will understand that I am expounding my teaching here all the time. To those who seek the way of the Buddha in such state of mind, I teach them that the Buddha's life is eternal. To those who do not seek the faith, I teach them to have faith in him. Thus, my wisdom works at my own will, since I have limitless wisdom and have gained an eternal life. I am capable of saving all people, and these incomparable powers can be obtained thanks to my own endeavors, practiced day by day without rest. Those who make effort to try to comprehend the significance of life, you must not question the true eternal existence of the Buddha. You must fundamentally take yourself from your current hypocritical ways of life. That way, you will understand that the teaching of the Buddha are fruitful. When the renowned physician saved his children, who themselves were suffering from deadly poison, but would not accept any medicine given by their father by telling them, "Your father is dead," when in fact he was alive. Nobody blamed him. Likewise, I am actually the father of his word, capable of saving all people around from various pains and suffering. However, you can't tell what is right and what is wrong. In order to open your eyes, I say that the Buddha is not here, while in actuality I am here. But if you become aware that I am really here, you will gradually lose the sense of My wish is to know how I can quickly lead you to the right way of faith and make you become a Buddha as soon as possible. The practice of Odaimuku chanting. All the marvels Shakyamuni Buddha has attained in other world, his true heart, are included in the 5 letters of Myoho Renge Kyo. If we believe in and practice the teaching of the 5 letters at the cost of our lives, we are able gradually but surely to gain the Buddha's true heart. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. सत्रहवां पुंडरीक सूत्र और शाश्वत बुद्धा शाक्यमुनि प्लवुत रत्न बुद्धा और सभी अतीत वर्तमान और भविष्य के बुद्धों के लिए 10 दिशाओं में समर्पित करते हैं। महापरोपकारी शिक्षण शाक्यमुनि शाश्वत बुद्धा शिक्षण के लिए भगवान शाक्यमुनि बुद्ध ने बोधि वृक्ष बोधगया के नीचे ज्ञान प्राप्त किए और तब से उन्होंने विभिन्न तरीकों से विभिन्न शिक्षाओं का प्रचार किया ताकि सभी जीवित लोगों को इस सांसारिक क्षेत्र से मुक्त होने में मदद मिल सके और अंत में लोटस सूत्र का प्रचार किया था जो 2400 साल पहले पवित्र भूमि गिद्ध की चोटी लाजगिल भारत में सर्वोच्च शिक्षाओं का प्रचार करता था। पुण्य सभी जीवित प्राणियों में फैल सकता है, सभी जीवित प्राणी एक साथ ज्ञान प्राप्त कर सके, दुनिया शांतिपूर्ण हो और सद्भाव में रह सके और सभी जीवित प्राणी सभी कष्टों से मुक्त हो सके, सभी संवेदनशील प्राणी स्वस्थ और खुश रहे। नाम-म्योho renge kyo Shujo muhen segando Bonno mushu segandam Homon mujin seganji Butsudo mujo seganjo. Sentient beings are immeasurable. I bow to accept them all. Our evil desires are exhaustible. I bow to consume all. The Buddha's teaching are immeasurable. I bow to study them all. The way of the Buddha is excellent. I bow to attain the path of life. Nam-myoho renge kyo. Nam-myoho renge kyo. Nam-myoho renge kyo. Thank you very much. Let's continue chanting for inner peace of all living beings. सभी जीवित प्राणियों के आंतरिक शांति के लिए नाम-म्योho renge kyo का जप जारी रखें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। शाम को मिलेंगे और खार मिलेंगे। Have a nice day.